Hello, my friends. I was browsing the internet, as I tend to do, and I came across this. It says this is the worst pasta shape, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I stared at it for several minutes, really, and I thought, how is this the worst pasta shape? As an Italian, and I had Italian grandparents. My last name is Chaffee, and my grandmother's last name was Mozzarella. I mean, how much more Italian can you get? But I remember going over to my grandparents' house, distinctly remembering having these all the time, and I absolutely loved them. It reminds me of a time I was with my good friend Orville. No, so bow ties. Uh, so I left a comment on here, kind of like what I just said about going over to my grandparents' house every Sunday. You walk in the house, you smell sauce. You go in there, and she's big pot of sauce and meatballs and bow ties. Now, my stepdad, who is not Italian, he always whines about him like, oh, he's like, oh, I hate bow tie pasta. It's hard to get on the fork, and I'm like, is it? Is it? Because I was a little kid and I had no problem getting it on a fork. In fact, it's like a game. It's a pretty fun game. How many bow ties can you get on the fork before you stuff that shit in your mouth? So I'm sorry, but if a 7, 8-year-old me can do it, a grown man should have no problem doing it. But when it comes to pasta, whether it be macaroni and cheese or Italian pasta, like with a sauce, what you want is structural integrity. How's it hold up when the sauce is coating it? Does it hold sauce well, or does the sauce just kind of slide right off of it? And is the whole thing coated? Because when it's not all coated, you're not getting the full flavor experience. So, for instance, example, farfalle or bow ties, even though it's butterfly, kind of looks like a butterfly. It looks more like bow ties, but the word is like butterfly. But butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, reading Rainbow. But you have these little crevices right there, where you have a little bit like a little river of sauce that goes through, and it's great. If you're looking for like mac and cheese, most people usually traditionally do elbow macaroni, but I found, at least with Kraft, if you take like Kraft macaroni and cheese, and it's like the elbow macaroni or the just like that really really thin small noodle, it doesn't taste very good because despite the fact that you're putting in milk and butter and all that, the cheese just doesn't get everywhere. When you have the shaped ones like this, like I remember we had Kraft mac and cheese a lot, and it would always just kind of be bad. But then Super Mario World, it had mac and cheese, and I found that when my mom made that, it was so much better because like this, it's got little nooks and crannies to where everything is coated, not just the outside, but the inside. With elbow macaroni, or like you've seen the Kraft noodles, they're really really thin. Um, it doesn't get inside there, so it's you're not getting the full flavor experience. Same thing with penne or ziti. Um, Rigatoni is good because rigatoni can be like, the opening is like that big, so you can actually get when you're mixing, you can actually get in there. But when it comes to like penne or ziti, it's usually not gonna have anything in there. Shells are great. Shells are basically like little bowls. So no matter when, how you scoop it up and on the your plate, your spoon or fork or whatever, they're like little bowls. They hold sauce in it. Um, have a Orochimaru, linguine. Orzo is basically rice, and just might as well fucking have rice. Um, this horrible take. Delete your account. Block. We don't deal with this crap here. Um, and then people say these, which is weird. These are the worst. These little freaking octopus tentacles over here, trying to pretend that they're pasta. Oh yeah, ditalini. Ditalini is probably the only pasta I've ever had where I feel hungrier after I eat it. It's, and for size comparison, that's an egg right there. That's an egg. So you put this up to the egg. It's only like this freaking big. It's like the same size as my wee wee. So like a pound of this still isn't really much just because it's a pound. But you know, you have a certain portion of it and it's just nope. I I just always felt hungrier after. It's like I might as well have just starved. At least then I wasn't hungry. I just should have not eaten. I wasn't really that hungry. I just had food and now I'm hungrier than I was before I ate. But you got the shells. Again, look at these. These like perfect little bowls. And even if they're flipped over, it still coats nicely on the inside. You know? I can't hear you. Yeah, like these. Look at this. Like, actually, hang on. These things. Look at this crap. Look at this crap. You can't get anything in there. And that's why it's so bland. It's always chewy no matter how long you cook it. I mean, this crap, this is by far the worst noodle. This is the worst noodle. You have Kraft with, well, that's homemade. Got the shells and cheese. But look at this. That's Kraft Super Mario Mac. Yeah. Like I remember having these and it was amazing. It was amazing. Look at this. Look at the it was so good. I remember having this and it was so delicious. It was so delicious because the whole thing was coated, not just the outside. You can see over there in the corner. I think I love the Yoshi ones. Um, we have the mushroom, we got the piranha plant, we got Bowser right there, Yoshi, Mario, Princess, and you got a star. But yeah, I mean, those tasted so much better than just, you know, than the other crap that like these noodles, like these are by far the worst noodles. There's like no question. These are just by far, hands down, the worst noodles that you can have. But when they're shaped like that, they can get through the whole thing. Pennies, I mean, that thing's basically a weapon. Uncooked, it's a weapon. Those things are sharp. You see a lot of these at like Pizza Hut, Domino's, like buffet style things. Like Cece's has this style of noodle. Very common. I mean, these look like basically they're just like clippings from like a cow or a horse hoof trying to be paraded around as pasta. All right, partner, you better delete this shit at sonic speed. Egg noodles. Egg noodles are good. Well, I mean, for something certain. Um, for noodle pudding, which you're like noodle pudding. Yeah, noodle pudding. It's well, noodle pudding. I can't really call it. It's not really a pudding, but it's, you know, you can have pineapples in here. It looks like we've got, you know, yeah, other fruit you can add. But yeah, you have egg noodles and sugar and stuff like that. I think some vanilla, cinnamon on top. You cook it. The top gets nice and like crusted. It's really good. We had it all the time when I was a kid. I think this one's with the raisins or a berry. But yeah, noodle pudding, really easy to make. Use egg noodles. Um, yeah, but it's just like soft and cinnamony and sweet and really good. We used to have it all the time as a kid. Like I said, when I was a kid, we had it all the time. Um, but yeah, I to say that the bow tie is the worst, not even close, pal. I mean, are you one of those people that complain about not being able to get it on a fork? I'm sorry, what are you, a Nancy? Nancy, you're a grown man, you can't get a fucking noodle on the fork? Come on, what are you, a 5-year-old? No, 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 that's an insult to 5-year-olds. I was 5 and I was putting these noodles on my fork. You gonna cry about it? What are you, babbling brook? Come on, come on. Look at you. You're disappointing your mother over there. Come on. You really want to be a disappointment to your mother, your father, wherever he is? You want to be a disappointment to him? He's gonna look back and say that his son couldn't pick up a fucking noodle on his fork? I mean, come on. Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing? Um, but again, I think, God, that looks so good. Yeah, these are by far the worst noodle ever. Ever. No questions, hands down. These are the worst noodle. They're bland. Even when you cook them, they're not really cooked. The, there's nothing that can get inside because the entrance is it's so narrow. I mean, just look how sad that looks. It's so depressing. It's so depressing. What the hell's this? Cotton can. Okay, that's. I don't believe in God, but I truly believe that what we just saw. This feels like it's a slight against God. Sodom and Gomorrah were burned down for a lot less. Okay. No. But I mean, look at that. It's just depressing. You know, and even if you take out the fake cheese and use real cheese, it's still not that great of a noodle. So, for me, hands down, these are by far the number one worst. Elbow macaroni, as much as I love elbow macaroni, probably close second because again, the curvature of it, it does not it's not that great. Whether it be sauce or mac and cheese, I mean ravioli, when you look at ravioli, how could you not like ravioli? Structural integrity for the most part. It coats both sides, and you get a burst of flavor already on the inside with the cheese. How do you not like that? You know, you got the shape, got crevices where it can go through. Everything is coated. Um, Acine de pepe. And or again, this is rice basically, but when it comes to macaroni and structural integrity or the ability to hold sauce and give you the most flavor out of it, yeah, elbow macaroni, and this is number one right here. Again, I I don't believe in God, but for someone to call this macaroni, again, Sodom and Gomorrah were burned down for a lot less. They were burned down for a lot less. No one can look at this and say that yeah, this is macaroni. It's like freaking Chef Boyardee and whatever else, like Campbell's, you know, it's like no. You don't call that pasta. That's not pasta. But What is your worst pasta shape, in your opinion? I don't like it because I can't get it on the fork. I can't get it on the fork. I'm a 45-year-old man. I can't get it on the fork. That sounds like a you problem. Sounds like a you problem, buddy. I didn't have a problem with that when I was a kid. I was getting it on my fork just fine. So it sounds like a you problem. And if you're married, your wife should be ashamed of you. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.